Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow. We go have a grand time all night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We go have a grand time all night tonight. All night tomorrow night. We go have a fine time all night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We go have a fine time all night tonight. All night tomorrow night. Let me go. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow the man. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow, blow. Holiday blow, blow.
A pleasant good morning to all of Guyana. A pleasant good morning to all our overseas residents. We want to say a special shout out and good morning to you. Please share the live as you join this morning. The Honorable Nima Flue-Bess in the house from the East Bank of Demerara, talking about issues that continue to affect us. So I want to encourage you this morning. Please share the live and invite others to come and let's have a talk this morning on matters that continues to affect us as Guyanese. Share the live. A pleasant good morning to all of you. Good morning, Comrade Ferguson. Nice to have you here. Share the live this morning and invite others to join. Let's have a discourse, let's have a talk. We're in the house. Good morning. It's such a joy to know that I can wake on Saturday morning and spend some time interacting and sharing information with the public about matters of pertinent and key importance. So I want to encourage you this morning to just share the live as we continue to talk. Share the live and invite others to join as we continue to discuss and share information that is pertinent for the development of our country, our people as a whole. Just keep sharing the live, invite others. It's such a joy to be up. Good morning, Ms. Daines. Nice to have you on this morning. Invite your other folks to join in. Share the live. It's a privilege to be talking with you. This morning, I'll be giving some updates on matters that we have highlighted throughout the week and the weeks that have been affecting residents on the East Bank of Demerara. So I want to encourage you to share the live. Good morning, Ms. Dublin. Nice to have you. Yes, a privilege to see you in the house this morning. Share the live and invite others to join. We're happy to be here. I'm happy to be with you this morning. Good morning, Ms. Henry. Nice to have you. Okay, I saw somebody talk about deportees. Issues relating to deportees is needed. I'll take note of that. And also you can inbox me privately on any matter that you would like us to discuss and give reasons. Yes, a pleasant good morning to you. I'll take note of that. Matters relating to the deportees. Good morning, Ms. Cummins. Nice to have you. Good morning to all of you. It's always a joy to share with you and to talk with you. Keep sharing the live this morning. And I want to encourage you to put your questions or topics you would like us to continue discussing as we go along. Good morning. Yes. Share this morning, invite others to join. It's just an half an hour where we discuss key importance. Good morning, Ms. Ramcharan. Nice to have you. How is our Stelling doing? Good morning. So we got Suzike in the house. We got her Stelling. We got Mocha, right? We got our overseas guests in the house. Good morning. It's always a joy to be talking with you and sharing with you on matters that are key and pertinent and important. This morning, let me start by giving some updates for the East Bank residents. Good morning, Ms. Joseph, all the way from Berbice. Nice to have you on the show. For those persons living at Barwell North, Mocha, I would have shared some photos during the week about the condition of the road, the main access road in Barnwell North area for residents and the challenges they're facing. And I must update you that the CDC visited. Peter's all in the house. Nice to have you, Ms. Cummins. Yes. The CDC visited the area and distributed hampers of cleaning agents to the residents affected. And the residents that would have received those hampers are thankful for it since the water on the land has begun to stink because the drainage is not being fixed. Also, there's some self-help work started in the area. Good morning, Ms. Hyman and Ms. Thomas. Nice to have you. The residents have decided to have some self-help done to fix the area. And so they started with some sand and putting whatever they can to help to alleviate the stress and the situation they're going through. And so those who can help or contribute to that project, whether it be builders waste, cement, loom, sand, and stuff to assist these persons, it would be very, very helpful and we'd be very grateful. You can contact me, inbox me privately, and we can make arrangement if you have any contribution towards helping them to be able to have access to the use of the road. This morning, I spoke to one resident and she said, as a result of just the little work that was done there, her vehicles were parked since November in our compound. And yesterday afternoon, she was fortunate because of the self-help work that was done to drive out the vehicle to go and purchase some items. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ms. Wilson, nice to have you. And so we're thankful that the CDC was there and we continue to look for all the help and support we can receive in helping to alleviate the problems with the residents at Barnwell North and the road. We want to say a special good morning to all communities on the East Bank, a special good morning to Laluni residents. This morning I was updated on some works being conducted at the NDC office and so, and they continue to work to enhance their community and the community development. So we want to say a special good morning to the residents at the Laluni. Also, I observed in the Gazette on January the 9th, there was a Gazette issue on naming of streets in Perseverance and Prospect Phase 3. And so if you are not aware of that, you can start checking the official Gazette and see what are the proposed names for some of the areas where you're living in Perseverance and Prospect. So we continue to be, I continue to follow all the developments possible for the East Bank and the residents who were affected in whatever way that we can work. I also saw that, nice to have you from Queens, New York. I also saw that there was a letter in Starbuck News this week on residents complaining about the deplorable state of the road in Herstelling, the newly developed scheme, and they are asking for assistance and for the NDC to pay attention to what's happening there. I want you to know that I visited thus far 2 NDC meetings, one at Eccles and one at Prayer Caledonia Success. Oh, and the third one, well, of course, Mocha Arcadia NDC meeting. I can tell you that the meetings, you hear them complain a lot about persons not paying their taxes and so forth. And I just want to encourage persons, you know, it's an obligation that we pay our rates and tax, and we should not allow it to run up. I know we're going through the difficult times currently with the pandemic, but if you can pay a small amount, pay it down. You know, if you pay within the first quarter of the year, that is January to March, you will pay no interest. So I would advise that you try to pay, even if you cannot pay all of your taxes, at least pay something. The NDC is only able to do so much with the subvention grant that they will get from the government, of course, and they're dictating what happens to it. And also, whatever taxes are given or paid, the NDC might be able to identify a few projects to do on their own. So I want to encourage you residents this morning, wherever you are, once you're living on the East Bank or anywhere in Guyana and there's an NDC, the only way you can make a difference is by getting involved, find out when it's meetings and attend these meetings and share your concern and information that the council can pay attention to what is happening. When we have elected officials, we have a responsibility to keep them in check and pay attention to what is happening. We cannot wait on the um, last minute to share information. Yes, there's update on Bornum Boulevard Road. It is expected to be on the 2021 budget. And yes, I know Bornum Boulevard is a really deplorable state at this time, but we're working on that. So residents, you can look forward to that. That being said this morning, those are the updates for the East Bank of Demerara, and I will continue to visit your communities. I know persons will ask about the COVID grant distribution. My last information received is that they were in Diamond area sharing. I don't know how well it is going, but that was the last update I would have received on Thursday, that they were in that area sharing. So they should probably be close to her Stelling coming down there to share the grant. I know that there are persons still affected in a manner in which this is done. And I want to encourage residents to look out and keep checking on what is happening in the area and get yourself au fait with all that is taking place. I'll share my number. I'll ask for the number to be shared so you can get the information you need. Good morning. Nice to have you, Charmin, and nice to have you, Miss Blair, in the house. Now, for national issues, I want to look at COVID-19. I don't know how many persons stop to look at what is happening with reports from Guyana when it comes to COVID-19. The CDC advisory, and you know I like to make my teaching aid. The CDC advisory about Guyana and COVID-19, currently Guyana is at level 4, which is very high. And that means that travelers should avoid all travel to Guyana. That's what the CDC is advising. And that is out there on the internet. You can go and check the information. We are at a very high level, level 4, according to the CDC report. And I like to check to see what the international community is saying about our country, because when you see what they're saying and you listen to what is being said by the current administration, you want to know if we're living in two different countries or two different planets, that you have so many contradicting information. So the CDC is advising that Guyana is at a level 4, which is very high, and travelers should avoid coming to Guyana. And only the other night I was looking at the news and it spoke about some strain in Brazil. And so the British were encouraging their residents not to come. The US Embassy, another platform I would look at to see what updates are there. Alert and messages, Guyana is at level 3. And it says, reconsider travel to Guyana due to COVID-19 excess. And then they tell you, exercise increased caution due to crime. And this is on the US Embassy alerts and messages. My comrades, I want to let you know that when you see such information being displayed and given about your country, it tells you exactly what is happening. Our plans or whatever actions are being done is not properly implemented. There is no proper strategy. And so we continue to see an increase in the COVID-19 cases. However, like I would always say, we have to use wisdom and we have to practice the right thing in ensuring that we protect ourselves and our family. And this is very important. We need to pay attention to these things, protect our children. If you're sending them off to school, that's a choice you have to consider. If they are going to travel in public transportation, I'm concerned about all that is happening. In my mind, I'm saying Guyana is a free port, and the people comes and goes. I don't think we have all the strict measures to check and evaluate persons entering our country with COVID-19 related issues and how well it's being implemented. As such, I want to encourage you to practice the basics of washing your hands and sanitizing often. I want to encourage you to ensure that when you're going out, you wear a face mask. I'm tired of seeing several persons traversing without the mask in different places you go to. Try to avoid and practice your social distancing. There was a recent release in the Gazette about updates about COVID and the restaurants and all of that, which I think it's really sad because we see our numbers are climbing, and yet still the strategies we're implementing is to ensure that that continues. And so we have a responsibility to work and ensure that we protect ourselves. On the international front, you know our coalition position when it comes to Venezuela and their decree. We will continue to stand firm with the people of Guyana to protect our sovereignty and our territorial integrity. This morning, I want to zoom in and especially to an issue that is very close to my heart. As you know, I'm a teacher of physical education and sports and sociology. And during the week, I observed there was some writings, some back and forth writings and articles that had me thinking what really is going on when it comes to sports and in Guyana, especially with the cricket issue that seems to be on the front burner. So this morning, I want to spend some time presenting a little on politics and sports. I'll start by highlighting these dates. On the 11th of August, 2020, there is a headline that says, GCB Sports Minister Honorable Charles Ramson Jr. holds successful collaborative meeting. That sounds very positive. When you see an headline like this, and this was on the 11th of August, I don't know what happened with all these nice words, this successful collaborative meeting. When an article was published on the 11th of January, 2021, saying that the New Year's football tournament leaves National Stadium in a scrubby state. And I started to look at all that was being said and presented after this article was published and all the animosity and ignorance that you heard coming out in the public. There was a tournament held at the stadium. It was supposed to be a Kashif and Shanghai tournament, football, a bounce back tournament. But those who follow football and those who are football lovers would want to think, when we think about a bounce back for Kashif and Shanghai, I mean, everybody associates that particular organization with Linden and football being held in Linden. I recall traveling to Linden every New Year's Day for a number of years, going to football and following football all over. Because I love sports. So it's not only football. And then on the 13th of January, there was an article published. The 11th, we had this one that talked about the scrubby state of the ground. Scrubby state, maybe scrubby was a word that hurt persons in their thinking. And on the 13th of January, 2021, there is a heading that says, National Stadium is owned by the people of Guyana, not a particular sport. That's Minister Ramson's words. And I'm going to read that back again. National Stadium is owned by the people of Guyana and not by a particular sport. I want to remind this minister also and all the current administration that all of the resources and wealth of Guyana is owned by the people of Guyana. Even the COVID grant relief that is being shared is owned by the people of Guyana, it's taxpayers' money. So this statement is not only applicable to sports, it is applicable to all the resources in Guyana. So it's nice to know that they are aware of that, because Mr. Ramson made mention that it's not one particular sport that owns the stadium. We listen, we like when you speak so eloquently and powerfully. And then there is an article, I hope you can put it up on the screen, that was published on the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture website. It's up there. It says that illegitimate, that word captured my attention. Illegitimate GCB, prohibited entry from the Guyana National Stadium until compliance with Act. I am thinking that the average Guyanese who are into sports and all of that would want to know, how come 11th August you had a successful meeting with the Guyana Cricket Board. But now, coming down the line, the 30th of July 2021, this said minister that was in meeting with these people are calling them illegitimate. I'm wondering if they wonder what illegitimate is. I'm quite sure that the elections of the Guyana Cricket Board didn't take the form of our national elections that produce an illegitimate government. That being said, I started to look again for the Guyana Cricket Board. When you talk about something being illegitimate, I went and checked because I'm very, very upset to think that that's a level of thinking we're dealing with persons in administrative and authoritative position, the administration. Guyana Cricket Board, when you Google, the Guyana Cricket Board locally is responsible for cricket. When you're dealing with sports, you have the local organization. So Guyana Cricket Board will be our local organization. We have a regional organization, that is the West Indies Cricket Board, which the Guyana Cricket Board is a part of. And then we have the global organization or the international organization, which is the International Cricket Council, the ICC, that is responsible for cricket or whatever, all the sports that have international bodies. They're governed by rules and regulations of the association. And then when I had prepared this since 2 days ago, and I recognized this morning, January the 16th, there's a letter written in the Guyana Times that says, Minister must abide by international sporting rules, Olympic Association to the minister. And this was written by the president of the Olympic Association, which pointed out and posited very well the role of the organizations and the associations and what they do. And this is something that people need to recognize. Imagine if you're having an administration that does not recognize a locally organized body for a particular sport. What damage, what effect would it have on the sports and the person who played the sport? Then also there's another article published today, 2 articles I see here. Them boys say in Kaichor News, cricket can't play upon football ground. The logic don't add up. And they gave a whole narrative of what is happening. And then there's another article that says by Peeping Tom, the president should have a chat with young Ramson. I think all PE teachers should have a chat with young Ramson. Because when we're talking about sports, sports have layers. You have different bodies. You have the local body, the regional body, the global body. And the International Association would give the rules and the guidelines that must be followed by all these other sub-aims to deal with the particular sport. Now, when I saw this article again, that probably erupted a lot of ignorance. Sluggish simply means slow moving or inactive, slow to respond or to make progress. I don't know what Mr. Ramson interpreted to be, but I'm guessing that he interpreted it to be an opportunity to play powerhouse, you know, like everything else they're doing. If it is not something in keeping with what I would want to hear from you, then I will go about calling you illegitimate and all of these things. And so it becomes a problem for persons in the sports. And we look at this, Providence Stadium, if you look here, you had in December the 27, 2021, Kashif and Shanghai returns with Bounce Back Football Classic. Yeah, I'm wondering if Ramson went to the stadium before the competition to check the ground. Because I saw him take out a picture, pose up. He's on the ground, check in to validate and verify. And I am confident that the persons who work at the ground does an excellent job because in 2018, September 14, 2018, in iNews, you see what the headline said? Providence Stadium Head Curator awarded Hero CPL Groundsman Award. Those persons who move around cricket would know, well, if they weren't doing a good job, I don't think he would have received an award. And this tells us that they're very effective with their job. I visited the stadium on several occasions, and I can tell you, not only the stadium, Everest Cricket Ground. I went to the cricket ground through the avenue that is there, and all these grounds, you recognize that These men, these workers are so committed and dedicated to ensuring that the ground reach the standard required by the international body. If you want to have international sports come and play in your country, then you have to maintain a standard that should be taking place. Now, if we cannot maintain the standard, then obviously international matches and our players will not be properly prepared to participate and compete in any competition. And these are some of the things that persons need to take into consideration, especially Ramson, who is calling the Guyana Cricket Board to be illegal, illegitimate. That's not right. When we look at what does politics and sports involve, the government have a responsibility to ensure, and I put out just three simple things. Help in making sports policies. They didn't say control the sports, dictate what happened in the organization. It was nothing like that. That's why there's an organization, a group that deals with preparation and knowing about the sports, communicating with the international body, reaching the required standards. That's why we have an organization. So it is the government responsibility to help with making sports policies with the organizations and that will reach the international requirement. Two, providing grants to assist in the sports. So like you see, ever so often persons will be invited to competitions, but they don't have sponsors to get to travel to the competition. Oh, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture, that's a very good role for you to play. You can provide sponsorship for those athletes who need it. Instead of go rowing the minister going out and carry on about the organization, the role of the organization. Then developing infrastructure. We know culturally in Guyana, everywhere you go, you drive through every community, you always find boys playing the little cricket, the little football, one tip, two tip cricket. I used to enjoy that, still do. When I play with the children in the village or my children, you run around, you get to play a one tip, two tip cricket. Or you run and you play a little, your small goal football, even if you're mashing up each other's feet. Culturally, cricket and football is what you would find most Guyanese playing. And now, if we have football so long in this country, when they developed the stadium, they thought of cricket. It's a perfect opportunity to develop a football stadium now. It's a perfect opportunity to develop a football stadium. Good morning, Ms. Hyman. It's nice to see you all the way from London. And then importantly, nurturing talents. Just these four simple things. And there are several other things the government can be involved in to enhance and project and push sports development in the country. We're nurturing our talents by providing the necessary facilities, the necessary resources and guidance that would help our people. I would like Mr. Ramson to know that we have a lot of students in Guyana who are doing physical education and sports, and they're taught about politics and sports and the role of the government in sports. They know about the benefits of sports. So you're not talking to, when certain comments are made, to call a grouping, a particular grouping or an organization illegitimate because you did not get what you want, or for you to say that this is happening. We're not talking to illiterate people. We're talking to people who are very knowledgeable and very much aware. The young people are very much aware of what should be happening in sports. You see, professional facility, I bring a physical education book to show those who are not afraid that physical education in sports is a subject. It's a subject being taught at the CXC level and at the CAPE level. And you talk about provision of facilities, regulation and use of facilities, public safety, which is important, promoting unity as a group or a nation. And in Mr. Yassin's article, he posited some very pertinent and key points that the Olympic Association has when it comes to sports and sports development. Sports can transform an entire country. Sports can transform an entire community. Sports transform people's lives. We should not use it as a political tool to cuff people down and all of that. We should use it as an opportunity to teach and empower our young people to want to be involved in sports. Sports can be used for recreational purposes. Persons may want to relax, Nothing like riding a bicycle, nothing like taking a jog or taking a walk, a brisk walk around a block or something. That could help. It is for entertainment. We know that you know when cricket playing. You see our dress up? You got on your hat. West Indies or Guyana playing and they hit a six. You jump up and scream and make a whole lot of noise in your house because you're enjoying it, or you're at a football match and you listen to the entertainment of persons commentating on the sidelines about the match. But if you put them on the field, they can't play it. But that's a joy and the entertainment sports bring to people. And therefore, it should be used as an opportunity to build and not break. I would hope Mr. Ramson will use the opportunity to go and be properly affiliated and au fait with what's happening. The organization, these groupings that we have, with the Guyana Cricket Board, the Olympic Association, and all these places, they've been there before you and have been functioning before you, Mr. Ramson. And because of that, as a newly appointee, it's very important that you get au fait, find out what's happening, and all of that. I commend those men who and workers who take pride and care in preparing the cricket ground and the pitches to ensure that it reach a particular standard. That being said, this morning, I hope that you would have learned a lot about sports and its importance to our people. We need to, I'm very happy to see that persons have written and have continued to write information as it relates to what is being said and how the Guyana Cricket Board is being attacked foolishly. If the minister had visited the stadium before, then he might have understood what is meant by sluggish and what the writer was saying in his article about the importance of having the field prepared for the people and the persons, the players to use. In closing this morning, I want to tell all of you, do not lose heart. The coalition is here. We will continue to work and represent the interests of our people until we return to government. Stay focused and remain blessed. Thank you so much for joining me.
Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow the man. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow. We go have a grand time all night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We go have a grand time all night tonight. All night tomorrow night. We go have a fine time all night tonight. All night tonight. All night tonight. We go have a fine time all night tonight. All night tomorrow night. Let me go. Holla the blow, blow, blow. Holla the blow, blow, blow.